out of the way, we can go right ahead and hold on, light focus, please. Just need to fix the light settings. All right, there we go. So with that out of the way, we can go right ahead and we can go ahead and talk about the next few players that I'm going to bring up in this draft. So obviously, Knetch is one of them, but I'm gonna go in order, and then I'm going to come back around and talk about Knetch and my opinions, my overall opinions about him. So the 11th pick in the draft was Mayas Buzilis. So I give that pick an A. I give that pick an A plus for the Chicago Bulls. Then Nikola Topic, he was picked by the Oklahoma City Thunder. I give that a B plus. Next, we have Devin Carter. He was drafted by the Kings at number 13. I think this is a fantastic pick, and I give it an A plus plus. Like, that is a great pick. Like, go above an A, everything above an A. Great pick. And next is Bub Carrington for the Washington Wizards. Kind of funny. He looks like a female. In my opinion, like, no disrespect whatsoever. I just think it's a little bit funny. He's a great player as well, and he got drafted to the Wizards. I give it an A, like, solid pick. Then there's Kelel Ware. I'm not even going to lie, that name is a little bit difficult to pronounce. I'm a little bit neutral on this one. I'm not really familiar with this game like that. So, those are the notes that I had. Next for the Sixers, Jared McCain. I think this is a great pick for the Sixers. I think this is an A minus pick. And then we move on to the stud, the beautiful, the fantastic 17th overall pick that the Lakers had. They used it on Dalton Knecht. Now this, the biggest steal in the entire draft, and I'll run it back and I'll explain why after I go over the rest of these players. So Tristan Da Silva, he got drafted by the Magic. I give that an A. Jacoby Walter, fun fact, he was named after Jordan and Kobe. So Jacoby, in case you guys didn't know. So he got drafted to the Raptors, and I give that a solid A. Next, there's Jalen Tyson he got drafted to the Cavs, and I also give that a solid rating of an A. It might be a B. It's like all dependent. I'm not really a big fan of his game, so but an A, still a really good pick, and a B, like, around there, around that kind of rating. Next, we at the 21 pick, we have Yves Missy. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Pardon me if I completely messed that up. He got drafted by the Pelicans. I give that a B just because, like, I'm not entirely sure on that one. That's a little bit of a toss-up for me. Then we have the Suns. They had the number 22 pick, but they eventually decided to trade the number 2 that 22 pick to the Denver Nuggets. So Darren Holmes II is on the Denver Nuggets this time as opposed to being on the Suns. I think this is a good pickup. I mean, I'm very surprised that the Suns just decided not to keep him, but yeah, that's essentially, like, really the best. That's essentially the ranking that I gave him. Next is AJ Johnson for the Bucks. I don't know what the Bucks are doing with their drafting. I think this is a horrible pick. And I think they just wasted their 23rd their draft pick for this player. I mean, not a very good pick. He averaged, I believe, only like 3 points in the league that he was in, and I don't know. I don't get this pick. I genuinely don't. So I give that like a C. Like, that is a very questionable pick. Next, the Knicks, they had the 24 pick. They ended up trading that pick over to Washington, and they ended up choosing Kaishan George. That was the guy that the Wizards ended up wanting in that 24 pick. So the Knicks just picked it for them. I give that an A. I think he's a solid player, and on a rebuilding Wizards team, not a bad option. Then the Knicks, again, they had back-to-back picks, so they had the 25th pick, and they used it on Pacome Diet. Forgive me if I botched that name, but that's basically, I give it an A minus. Next is Dylan Jones. He got drafted by the Wizards and is then traded to the Thunder. I give that an A. Terrence Shannon Jr. was drafted by the Timberwolves. I also think that is a very huge steal. I'm a very big fan of his game. Then there's Ryan Dunn. They had the drafted by the Nuggets, but was then traded over to Phoenix. So I think that's a pretty good acquisition as well for the Phoenix Suns. Then Isaiah Collier, drafted by the Utah Jazz. I think that's another great steal coming in from the Jazz. And then finally at number 30 is Baylor Sherierman. Again, forgive me if I botched that name. Coming in from the Celtics. Doesn't really matter who the Celtics draft because, they're just the better team, and it doesn't matter. So let's move on just with the little time that we have to talk about Dalton Knecht. Now, this kid is a huge steal. Just look at these numbers. He played 30 minutes in college, right? And he averaged 21 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist on 50, 40, 70 shooting splits. That is amazing. Averaging 20 in college is it's not an easy thing to do because with how team-oriented college basketball is, averaging 20 isn't something that even the best scorers in college, sometimes they barely average 20. And I genuinely think that this is a great pickup. And there goes the phone going off, just making loud noises, which is fantastic. And I think this is a good steal. This is definitely, I thought that the Lakers, they were going to waste this pick on drafting Bronny, which would have been a huge mistake, a very huge mistake, and I'll explain why that's a big mistake in the 4th segment later on. But great pickup for the Lakers. Definitely a great pickup. LeBron has already given him his praise, before he was even drafted. Just by watching him play, he already gave him his praise. So, great pickup, fantastic player. Nothing more that needs to be said about that because that is the biggest steal in the entire draft. So, with that out of the way, that's it for the 2nd segment. So now I will go ahead and go into the 3rd segment where I talk about the Knicks yet again and OG Anunoby's incredible contract that he signed with the Knicks. I am incredibly happy for him. This is great. This is randy dandy, beautiful. I'm going to talk about that in the 3rd segment, so be sure to stay tuned.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.